Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about some early wins for the Sussexes in 2024 already. And I'm late reporting. They're having wins early in the year, like day one, day two. And we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about a little bit of the drama. And then we're also going to talk about a little bit of the legal mess. But we're going to talk about all of it. So go ahead and kick your feet up, get some snacks, and let's get started. Once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you feel so inclined, don't forget to share. So today we are starting off with the positive news. New year, new vibes, new wins. We're going to be talking about some early wins that the Sussexes have already seen. And we are only 1 week into the year and we're not even completely through the week. Because of course. So we're going to start off there and then we're going to get into the mess. So let's get started. Happy New Year, everyone. I wanted to start off tonight's live stream with talking about the new achievements already conquered by Harry and Meghan in the new year. And we're only a few days in. To end 2023 right and start off 2024, Lucy Clark Billings, a reporter, compiled a list of the 14 famous people who defined 2023. And sitting quite comfortably on that list is the couple we all know and love, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry's autobiography, Spare, became the fastest-selling nonfiction book ever, with more than 3.2 million copies sold in the first week. With a reported £88 million Netflix deal under their belt, the Sussexes were off to a strong start. But the Duchess's podcast Archetypes was dropped by Spotify after only one season, with the streaming service's head of podcast innovation and monetization, Bill Simmons, describing them as grifters when their £16 million multi-year deal with the company was canceled. However, after winning substantial damages due to his hacking case against the Daily Mirror in a judgment that will have profound implications for the British media, the couple ended the year on a high. If you would like to take a look at the other 13 entries on this list, feel free to use the link in the description box below in the section titled Sources. I looked at the other entries on the list, and I see that the same type of high-level view approach to their year was taken as well. The intent was to curate an at-a-glance look for the reader, so the writer didn't go into depth into any one person or couple or any of the high points or low points that were mentioned. Now, I totally understand that, no harm, no foul. But I would have loved just a smidge more information on the Spotify situation since it was mentioned. What people seem averse to reporting is that Spotify cut a lot of content from their programming at that same time, and they also had massive layoffs around that same time as well. Spotify admitted multiple times prior to losing Archetypes from their platform and afterward that they were going through a full restructure on their platform. It was also revealed that many content creators, artists, and you guessed it, podcasters were pushing back on their Spotify contracts and finding ways to get out of them. Lastly, around that time, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, signed with the powerhouse talent agency WME, reported exclusively by Variety, with the agency stating Meghan, Duchess of Sussex was a crown jewel for WME. And Variety confirmed many rival agencies had actually attempted to woo the Duchess into a management contract for many years. She is still signed to WME as of January 2024, and both parties are currently very happy with their working relationship. Although this information is helpful as you build a more complete view of the situation, their official parting statement did not attribute any one reason to the dissolution of their working relationship, so we can truly only speculate. I would also discourage listening to the musings of a dwindling executive of a spiraling platform looking to place blame elsewhere after such a massive loss to his company. As always, if you want to get a deeper look into the work of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, I highly recommend visiting archwell.com. It's great to see them on this list because they are absolutely change makers. They work very hard and their reach has continued to grow with each project, and we will continue to watch and report on it. It's great to see them being recognized, and cheers to a nice, prosperous, fun, and successful 2024. Now, around the time that I actually read that article about Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, in their year of 2023, I came across another article about a really big moment that they had in 2023. And of course, I'm speaking of the Parents Summit. So I wanted to take a look at this person's article, although it was written for Hello Magazine, which I rarely include in my videos. They are actually someone who attended the Parents Summit and they took a lot of notes about their experience. So I thought it would be really nice to bring that to you now. Now, the title of this article is I Attended an Intimate Talk with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Here are my takeaways. Back in October, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex spoke at an Archwell Foundation event in NYC for World Mental Health Day. And this was written by Justin Ravitz. He's an editorial director in New York. So let's get to it. With 2023 just about over, I wanted to look back on one of my most memorable work days of the year, Tuesday, October 10th. I'd been stressed. The previous night, after hours in traffic, it took me 2 more to find a parking space at home in Brooklyn. I'd been sleeping badly. I had skipped a workout. I felt weird, read old, about my upcoming birthday. I had, still do, an unhealthy relationship with my phone and an even worse one with social media. He's pretty hard on himself starting out the gate. So perhaps it was the perfect one to acknowledge and contemplate World Mental Health Day and to cover the Archwell Foundation's Parents Summit Mental Wellness in a Digital Age held in a cozy room at the Shed in Hudson Yards. The day's very special guests, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, aka Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Well, thank you guys so much. Prince Harry, let's start with you. If you could just have a drink of water, please. If you could just give us all a little bit of the genesis of the families that we just heard from and how they intersected with your work at the Archwell Foundation. I think it's been about a year now.
Thanks for starting with me. Shared experience. We know it's not hard. We know it's not easy for you guys to be here, so thank you very much. In answer to your question, Carlson, if I can answer it, I think once we started to realize how many people, how many families, how many parents there were in the US, but also around the world, that have suffered the greatest loss, we quickly realized that there was no one really in this space bringing them together. And yes, a huge part of this is to be working with Matthew and his team towards sort of the ultimate solution, but at the same time, bringing these parents together through Zoom was something which we knew it was needed, but then to see the impact and the effect that it was having on every single one of them, and to know that they didn't have prior opportunity or space to be able to learn that they are not the only person, that they're not alone in this. Ryan was sitting there, he's a chicken farmer, he's wearing ostrich boots, and he lives in the middle of nowhere. And yet as a parent, he's somehow expected to navigate his way around social media for his kids. So I think for us, for myself and my wife, again, with kids growing up in a digital age, for us the priority here is to, again, turn pain into purpose and provide as much support as well as a spotlight and a platform for these parents to come together, to heal together, to grieve together, but also to collectively focus on a solution so that no other family anywhere has to go through what they've been through. It just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
My first quasi-audience with this pair, part of Project Healthy Minds World Mental Health Day Festival, wasn't a massive event. Less than 200 attendees in total and less than a dozen journalists. Compare this intimate setup to my experience covering King Charles's coronation in London back in May. Whitehall was so crowded and locked down by 7 a.m. that I was completely unable to get to my designated watching spot. I've discussed this royal trauma with my therapist and anyone else who will listen. The 90-minute event was glamorous, of course, what with 2 of the world's most talked about expat royals on hand, and today's Carson Daly and U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy too. But the event was also very intense, emotional, and raw in a way I wasn't expecting. Before the Duke and Duchess took the stage, two panels moderated by the foundation's co-executive directors Shauna Knepp and James Holt gave the floor to parents who've tragically lost their children to suicide, thanks in part to the toxic effects of technology and social media. Grieving mom and dad, Tony and Brandy Roberts, wept as they remembered their daughter England and read aloud a private note she wrote on her phone weeks before taking her own life. Dave and Jenny DeSario were likewise tearful as they paid tribute to their son Nathan, an all-American kid, a football player who radiated this caring, loving energy, according to his father. It was hard hearing these parents, who were close and seemingly in sync with their sweet, talented, loving kids with very little inkling of any secret mental health struggles, the way mobile phones and social media apps exacerbate problems and isolate them. And it was profoundly inspiring to hear how the Duke and Duchess's Archwell Foundation helped these grieving families feel less alone, introducing them to one another and fostering a community of parents with heartbreaking shared histories. After these sober, visceral panels, wiping a few tears away, it was no less thrilling to see Harry and Meghan begin their own talk with Carson Daly and Vivek Murthy. I mean, Harry and Meghan, everyone's got an opinion about them. Millions have read Spare, seen the Netflix series, and more. Taking their seats to a hushed silence, the Duke and Duchess looked striking and serene in real life. For the record, the Suits alum wore a two-piece cream-colored Altazura ensemble, camel pumps from Aquazura, and gold bespoke earrings by Sarah Hindler. Harry, meanwhile, looked sharp in a black suit with a light blue shirt and tie. Once settled, they immediately focused on what we've all heard from the previous panelists. Quote, "I can't start without thanking all the parents, the mothers and fathers that have been here today," Prince Harry told Carson Daly, but also being on this journey for the last year, creating this community of shared experience. Relating to Carson how the project began, Harry said, quote, "Once we started to realize how many families, how many parents in the US and around the world had suffered the greatest loss, we quickly realized there was no one in this space bringing them together. For us, the priority is to turn pain into purpose and to provide support as well as a platform and spotlight for these parents to come together, to heal together, to grieve together, but also to collectively focus on a solution, so that no other family anywhere has to go through what they've been through. It just doesn't seem fair." Added Meghan, quote, "A year ago, we met some of the families. It was impossible to not be in tears, as I'm sure so many of you have been today, hearing these stories." The through line between these families and Harry and Meghan's own wasn't hard to see. Quote, "Being a mom is the most important thing in my entire life. Outside, of course, being a wife to this one," Meghan said, smiling at her husband as the crowd giggled. The Montecito-based couple are, of course, parents to Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, still a few years away from demanding iPads or TikTok accounts. Quote, "I feel fortunate that our children are at an age, quite young, so this isn't in our immediate future, but I also feel frightened by how it's continuing to change. This will be in front of us. Social media is not going away." She continued to assenting nods. "They say about being a parent, the days are long, but the years are short. So it worries me, but I'm also given a lot of hope and a lot of energy by the progress we've made in the last year." With the Duke and Duchess leading the charge, Archwell aims to find solutions for more responsible, humane, and ethical technology and social platforms, and to lessen the burden of individual parents by challenging tech companies. So, in addition to working closely with affected families, Prince Harry and Meghan had numerous discussions about the corporations behind the platforms dominating digital life. Quote, "Many of the platforms that we've had conversations quietly behind the scenes with, these tech executives, they do feel that they have created parental controls and certain guardrails, Meghan explained. But many parents, if you aren't tech savvy, you can't navigate that comfortably. It feels pretty overwhelming. There has to be a better solution than that." Once the event was concluded, I made sure my notes were copious and descended 6 or so escalators to exit the shed and take the train back to my office across town. I felt inspired and hopeful and impressed with the couple and the deeply felt personal mission they've taken on with Archwell, because of all they've shared about their own battles with mental health. because they've started a much talked about new life in Santa Barbara, in part to find greater happiness and health for themselves. It's a cliche, but it's true. We're all on a journey, Meghan and Harry included. It was a World Mental Health Day to remember. Thank you to Justin Ravitz for this really great article. I really appreciate that he wrote this from his experience actually attending. Now, here's the thing. We covered this in real time at the time that all of this came out, and we talked about it, and I do feel like we got a very well-rounded view of the event, as well as the other events that took place in New York City around that time during their visit. But this one, in my opinion, is pretty special because not only did he attend and not only did he write his experience, but I also appreciate that he included his thoughts about how Harry and Meghan presented, as well as his thoughts on their journey. I thought the conclusion of this article was pretty insightful and really considerate in a way that we don't see a lot of people report on anyone, but especially Harry and Meghan. In the media now, and we talked about this at length, but there just seems to be this mad grab for any type of dissension when it comes to them. Anything that can spark dissenters to come up and talk about them and to say something negative and to feed the trolls. And what Justin Ravitz did here, especially having being that he's writing for Hello, was very considerate, but also authentic. He included his day and how he was feeling on World Mental Health Day and how having the type of day that he had and lacking sleep and all of those things, his impending birthday, and sharing how this experience was a great moment of perspective for him and a great moment of insight for him when it comes to the couple. I thought the way he wrote this article was very personal in a way that I actually wasn't expecting. And I'm glad to see that he had such a good time at the Parents Summit and he took a lot away from it and he got something out of it that he could take back into his own life. He did not mention, or maybe I don't recall, I don't think that he mentioned anything regarding having children that this may affect. But I think the way that he was able to relate just on a human level says a lot about the event in and of itself, but also about Harry and Meghan and Archewell. Another moment, or another point that he made that I really appreciate is that he consistently pointed out that they built community. This is something we continue to come back to when it comes to Harry and Meghan and the fostering of healthy and safe communities. I don't think people realize how desolate the world is right now when it comes to communities. Everything is going digital. And again, social media, the internet, digital, it all has massive benefits. But with everything good, there are drawbacks. And if we can continue to work to build out a more well-rounded experience so that we get the benefits of working in the digital age and communicating in the digital age, but we also get the real experience of being humans and connecting on a human level and still being compassionate, considerate human beings, we would be on the money. We just have to get there. And what I love about trailblazers like Harry and Meghan and Archewell Foundation is that they can see the vision and the end game, no pun intended. They can, shout out to Omen. They can see the end game and the vision, and we just need to join them on that journey. We have to figure out what is our incentive to joining them on that journey. And I feel like a humane and compassionate world where we get the benefits of being digital and all things that come with the internet, et cetera, but we also still have the human connection, the love and the respect for one another and build safe communities. I feel like that, in my opinion, is the incentive. So I really appreciate Justin Ravitz writing about his experience, especially now, considering this took place back in October. So it was really great to start the year off reminding ourselves of what's at stake. What are we working toward? What are we fighting for? And even if you don't have children, you understand the pitfalls that the internet can definitely lay for you. There are traps everywhere. It can really do damage on you when it comes to your mental health if you aren't careful. And being reminded of that is always a plus, especially starting the year. So thank you so much, Justin Ravitz, for such a well thought out article. I have followed him on X, on Twitter, and I also tagged him so that anyone else who wanted to read this article, but also anyone who wanted to follow him directly, you can absolutely do so. So I wanted to share that. I hope you enjoyed the article, but we're not done yet. We have more wins to talk about, and we are only a few days into 2024. So let's get to it. Clever Blends is making some big moves in 2024, and we are going to talk about them. First, We have talked about Clever Blends and what they do, their amazing product, which I am a big fan of. Check out that mocha, y'all. Their amazing product, as well as Meghan being their advisor and first investor. She's also an occasional actress in their promo videos and sends people going wild all over the world because she appeared in a couple of seconds. But that's just the power of impact. Let's get back to the point. So, we've talked about Clever Blends. We've also talked about one of my favorite aspects of Clever Blends, which is their delicious product, the amazing effects it has on you, which, as someone who crashes when I drink a lot of sugar or a lot of caffeine, one of the things that I love about Clever Blends is that it's delicious, especially when I drink it in the morning, but I don't get that lag and that crash in the afternoon. So it is something that I can drink during the day and stay productive, which is so hard to find. And that's just my own personal experience. Obviously, this is not a paid ad or a sponsored video or any of that. I'm just being honest. It's delicious. Shout out to the mocha. But in addition to being my personal favorite morning drink, sorry, Nesquik, but in addition to being my favorite morning drink, they are actually making huge moves. Namely, they are expanding. Clever Blends, in addition to their website, are now being sold on Amazon. And wait, before we celebrate, they're also being sold in Target and on their website. You heard me right. It feels like it's moving at such a rapid pace. They have such an amazing product, and it's only right that it continues to grow in this way. And I'm actually really glad that more people will have access to Clever Blends. It is absolutely delicious. And having a website is wonderful, and you can still purchase their product and subscribe to their kit on their website. However, having accessibility through Amazon as well as Target will reach a lot more people, and we're going to be seeing Clever Blends everywhere pretty soon. So congratulations to the Clever Blends team. Smart investment on Meghan's behalf, and I cannot wait to see all of the amazing things that they continue to do. Now, I ask this every time we talk about Clever Blends, but every time we talk about Clever Blends, I've already gained a couple of new subscribers. So if you haven't answered this question before, feel free to answer it now. What is your favorite Clever Blends flavor? Let me know. Now, I am not shocked that the Sussexes are already starting this year off on a high note. Not shocked at all, but congratulations to them for continuing to blaze a trail of wins and success and doing good, or as they like to say, showing up and doing good. Good for them. Now, we're going to get into the mess. So prepare yourself. Hopefully, if you are eating, you go ahead and finish and get you a drink, because this next section will keep you parched. As I was researching this, I was just kind of like, all hell is breaking loose. So we're going to get into the drama, and then we're going to get into the legal mess. If you have yet to subscribe, don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button. And let's get started into the drama. New year, new drama. Palace insiders have started the year off by accusing Prince William of having anger issues. Because what else is new? This is something we've heard before, but it appears things have allegedly gotten worse. From the time William was a child, he was accused of being incandescent with rage, threatening other school children with sending his guards after them. He's been photographed allegedly yelling at Kate in the backseat of cars, and we're all aware of his major error of attempting to stick his finger in Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's, face. Spare, the memoir penned and narrated by His Royal Highness Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, details many stories of Prince William's bullying, even going as far as to grab Prince Harry on multiple occasions, throwing him to the ground at one point, and even yelling in King Charles's face. The remnants of being an overindulged, spoiled potato head have left Prince William with permanent vexation directed toward anyone at any time in his line of fire. The more that comes to light, the more concerned the public is becoming about another future Mad King. Palace insiders have revealed to the Mirror that Prince William's persistent peak is not only still present, but becoming a true concern. Which brings us to this article in the Mirror, titled, "Prince William has notably short fuse and can be a bit of a shouter, expert says." Palace insiders have previously claimed Prince William can be a bit of a shouter, royal expert Robert Jobson writes, with the senior royal being known to get into arguments with Kate, and this is written by Susie Beaver. The future king has a notably short fuse and has been known to blow his lid a number of times in expert claims, with William and Kate having reportedly had heated rows. Robert Jobson, a journalist who regularly covers the royals, says aides have previously told him the prince can be a bit of a shouter. Lifting the lid on their relationship, he wrote for Mail Online that a former courtier once shared, quote, "They both have quite extreme mood swings, just as Diana did. She could be your best friend one minute and the next your worst enemy." Pause, because we have really dissected a lot of content about Princess Diana, particularly her biography, Diana, Her True Story, in her own words. This implies that Princess Diana was unhinged. She absolutely was not. And I think it's irresponsible to continue without correcting this. If she felt that you were in some way mistreating her, then she had a right to respond to that. Princess Diana was not mistaken when she felt that the people in her circle did not have her best interest at heart, because they absolutely did not. And if she took issue with a person, she absolutely always had a reason. And as a matter of fact, she often took a very long time to get to that point with people. She had a lot of forgiveness, and she would give people a lot of grace. So much so that people would often have to mistreat her or transgress against her in some way multiple times before she actually reacted to it. Now, as she lived longer and got more mature and got more self-assured, she noted in her biography, which she personally participated in. So this is not third-party information. She actually participated in her own biography. But in her biography, she actually talked about how over time her maturity and self-assurance grew, and she was quicker to respond to people who would do things that were disrespectful or mistreat her or put her in a pressurized situation. And as time went on, she was more comfortable speaking up for herself. But she was absolutely no bully. She was not erratic. She was not bipolar. She was a person who deserved to be treated with respect. And when she was not given respect, she would often put her foot down. And over time, she got better at putting her foot down. But if there were any extremes, she actually gave people more grace than they deserved, not less. Sorry, I'm not sensitive about Princess Diana. I'm just very protective of her legacy, because I've seen how people use her words against her, and they intentionally misconstrue what she said over the years. William and Kate will celebrate their 13th wedding anniversary later this year after tying the knot in April of 2011. Writing in his 2022 book, William at 40, The Making of a Modern Monarch, Mr. Jobson claims the couple have a very strong partnership and are clearly very in love, but have different approaches when it comes to disagreements. It was also claimed William has a notably short fuse, according to the writer. A close royal aide once revealed to him, he can be a bit of a shouter when he loses it. However, the aide added, "It's fair to say the Duke and Duchess give as good as they get if their disagreement results in raised voices. But they know each other so well, it usually blows over quickly. And she is, on the whole, a major calming influence on him." Pause right there, I'm sorry. These are adults. And yes, it is imperative for your partner to understand what it takes to ground you when you have any type of extreme emotion, whether it's extreme sadness or anger or frustration or whatever. Most times, if you've been with your partner for a while, they know what it takes to get you back to center. And that's very helpful. But that does not mean that they should be subservient and be mistreated because you have rage issues. Those are very different things. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but what they're describing is not the same thing as what they're responding to. So in this case, they're saying Kate has major calming influence over him, but they also say that he loses it and he's a shouter and he's rageful. I wouldn't say that Kate is calming for him. I would say that Kate is at the helm of what you're describing as abuse. And a lot of people who have been abused, especially by a partner or in a domestic situation, tend to go in a shell. They tend to disassociate or go in a box mentally or emotionally. So what they're describing is abuse. He is verbally abusing her, and she is calming, i.e., not wanting to incite more abuse. That's not a compliment. That is not something to note and say, oh, achieve this, aspire to this. This is how balance works. Actually, balance would be when either of them are out of sorts, the other is a calming influence over them. Balance would be he gets angry, but he never crosses a line. Balance means you have the right to feel whatever emotion you feel, because feelings are not inherently right or wrong. Feelings exist and they are what they are. How you react to those feelings is what's important. And as long as you are respecting your partner's boundaries and still respecting your partner as a person, you are more than welcome to feel and express yourself in ways that are appropriate. What they're describing are not appropriate reactions. And as an adult, he should learn how to not only self-soothe, but to still maintain respect for his partner, even when he feels high or low. And they both should be held to that. They're saying one thing while describing another. And here's the thing. When we learned the story of Prince William sticking his finger in Meghan's face, I said, well, that absolutely came from somewhere. And when we saw Prince Louis sticking his finger in Kate's face, I said, well, that absolutely came from somewhere. And I have for a very long time, based on what I've observed from the royals themselves, have felt that Prince William consistently crosses a line with Kate when it comes to his rage and his anger. The kids will pick that up. What they see, they regurgitate and they repeat. But again, they're describing this as some fairy tale love story. She has signed up to be treated however they deem to treat her, as long as she gets her end goal. That's what I observe, allegedly, whatever. That's just my opinion. I don't know these people, but it just appears that she is allowing herself to be treated. Like I said last week, she'll answer to anything. She said that on the radio. She'll answer to whatever you call her. A person who will answer to anything does not have an identity. That should be concerning. She'll answer to anything, so that means you can call her whatever you see fit. Where's the self-respect in that? So she signed up to be treated however, which is why she looked at Meghan like she had two heads to see a woman respecting herself. Like, who are you, girl? Are you insane? We don't respect ourselves here. We just go along to get along, and we get pretty dresses. We get to look pretty. Don't you want to look pretty? And Meghan's like, I can look pretty and still respect myself, girl. It's called self-respect. You have to teach people how to treat you by how you treat you. And when Meghan showed that she would not allow people to disrespect her, Kate was just as out of sorts as everyone else was. And so it's interesting to see how, on one hand, they can call Meghan a bully for respecting herself, for working hard, and for doing her best to help underserved communities. And for her and her husband to love and respect one another. They can call her a bully. They say that she controls Harry, all because Harry respects her and treats her with respect. But then on the flip side, they praise Kate for being a, quote, calming influence on William, who they just admitted yells and screams at her. And in another article said they throw pillows at each other. And we're supposed to respect that? We're supposed to amplify that? We're supposed to adhere to that and aspire to that? Ignore the couples themselves. If you had to put the behaviors into a chart, and on one side you have throws pillows at one another, one of them screams regularly at the other, points fingers at the other one, consistently ignores and mistreats the other one. And in that same box, that person in response is a quiet mouse, allowing themselves to be treated and called whatever, whenever, and won't even go by their own name. They just identify as this person's wife. Now you got that box. And in addition to that, the allegations of cheating. But then in the other box, you have this couple works well together, respects one another, is absolutely out loud in love with one another. So much so that they regularly commit to PDA, appropriate PDA. But PDA, they're so expressive that people can visibly see their love. They treat each other well. They speak highly of one another. They protect one another. And at all times, they maintain respect for one another. You will not catch them saying anything ill about the other one, rolling their eyes at each other, making faces at each other, sneering at each other, snatching away at each other, tickling booties with one another. You won't catch them doing that. Now, if you had to judge side A or side B, which is the healthier couple? So I don't understand these articles that will tell us, yeah, William all but just go, let's have on Kate. He just does whatever he wants to Kate. And she's fine with that. As long as her end goal is achieved, she's okay with being treated however she needs to be treated and called whatever she needs to be called, as long as she gets to wear pretty dresses and on occasion gets to wear a fake tiara. Imagine doing all that and you don't even get to wear a tiara at a coronation. But we're supposed to aspire to that and praise that? Anyway, let's continue. Evidence of William's temper appears to have been backed by his own brother. One of Prince Harry's major bombshells from last year's memoir, Spare, revealed how he and his older brother once got into a physical fight ahead of his nuptials to Meghan Markle. But despite the occasional row with Kate, Mr. Jobson claims the couple largely have a solid relationship, with the princess keeping him grounded due to her upbringing out of the public eye. They've got a solid relationship, and she gives him confidence, he added. There is no jealousy, no friction. They are happy for each other's successes. While it's been nearly 23 years since the two first met at St. Andrews University, they both still recall the awkwardness. Kate has previously revealed how the first time she ever met William, she went bright red, saying, "I actually think I went bright red when I met you," and sort of scuttled off, feeling very shy. Despite the shyness, it seems Kate still managed to leave an impression. William once claimed he knew immediately she was special, despite the two being friends and housemates for several months before eventually beginning dating as students. Speaking years after they met, he claimed, "When I first met Kate, I knew there was something special about her. I knew there was possibly something that I wanted to explore there." Before we continue with more of my thoughts, I just have to share this, and I intended to share this last year because we talked about Prince William's big bald head. And I wanted to share this because when Harry was laughing at Anderson Cooper reading off the statements from Spare, which highlighted William's big giant bald head, I couldn't help but to think of this scene.
She lied, and I should have known
This
better.
article
when I seen
appears
her
to
hair.
serve multiple
Ms.
purposes.
Reese?
It's titled in such a way
I
to
gotta
imply
feel you
that
were
the
somewhat
article
worried,
actually
weren't you?
discuss Prince
Oh, no,
William's
no.
rage and anger issues. It then veers into a pseudo-romantic lens over the descriptions of verbal abuse and domestic bullying, only to then follow up with quotes intended to glorify their 13-year matrimony, but actually sounds more like a human resources manager describing a potential candidate. This person was somewhat special. There could possibly be more to explore there. I was shy. I've heard better compliments about the porcelain thrones down at the local Home Depot. I'm married, and I have been for 7 years, and I can imagine after all this time, barely piecing together a description more fitting for a dog adoption than to convey my feelings for my husband. I also can't put my finger on the point of this article as it aimlessly fires away at Princess Diana, Prince William, and Kate Middleton while writing separate fluid yet opposing points of view. What I did take away is that the allegations of William's fervent rage aren't slowing down, and it appears instead of honestly reporting on his issues, the goal for most, quote, royal experts is to instead change the tone around said incidents and forcibly shove rose-colored glasses on the eyes of the reader. You get nowhere turning a blind eye to bad behavior from people in leadership. You actually get tyranny, and the Royal Rota would do well to call it out accurately. But these aren't the only allegations of royals behaving badly. Prince Andrew faces allegations from unsealed U.S. court documents about Jeffrey Epstein. This article was published yesterday to the BBC, and it was written by Sean Cowlin. The Duke of York has been named in unsealed U.S. court documents about people linked to the pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. The court papers include a detailed witness statement from a woman who claimed Prince Andrew groped her at Epstein's house in New York. The documents from the 2015 lawsuit also include names such as former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Many names had been kept anonymous, but a U.S. judge allowed their publication. Much in these New York court papers had been revealed before, but it will still mean fresh embarrassment for Prince Andrew, who appeared on Christmas Day with the royal family in Sandringham. The publication of the documents once again revives awkward questions about Prince Andrew's relationship with Epstein and his circle. The court papers include the testimony of Joanna Solberg, who describes meeting Prince Andrew at Epstein's home in New York in 2001, along with Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Giuffre, who went on to make and settle a civil sex assault claim against Prince Andrew. Ms. Solberg's I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Ms. Solberg's statement, which had previously been partly revealed, describes an encounter in which she claims Prince Andrew touched her breast. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. She recalls a scene in which Maxwell, who was later jailed for sex trafficking offenses, had shown them a puppet of Prince Andrew, which was intended as a great joke. Quote, and they decided to take a picture with it, in which Virginia and Andrew sat on a couch. They put the puppet on Virginia's lap, and I sat on Andrew's lap, and they put the puppet's hand on Virginia's upper area, and Andrew put his hand on my upper area, and they took a photo, said Ms. Solberg's deposition. Pressed by lawyers on the seating arrangements, she said, whether we were on a couch or a chair, I just remember the upper area part, the hand on the upper area part. Obviously, I'm omitting the word now because I don't think I can say that on YouTube. Miss Soberg, then age 20, had been at college when she had been recruited by Maxwell. Initially, she believed as an assistant before finding that she was encouraged to deliver erotic massages for Epstein, which she resisted. She believed that Virginia Guffey, then called Roberts, was younger, age 17, as she hadn't been able to get into a casino that they'd attended. Jeffrey said, "Great, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to, I don't recall the name of the casino, but we'll go to the casino," she said, of the trip to New York. But Miss Guffey had been too young to go inside. Miss Soberg described Miss Guffey, who the same year would appear in a photograph with Prince Andrew in London, as seeming as though she did not have a family. Maxwell, in her deposition, said that she had once been on Epstein's Caribbean island when Prince Andrew visited. But she said, quote, "There were no girls on the island, no girls, no women, other than the staff who worked at the house. Girls meaning, I assume you're asking underage, but there was nobody female outside of the cooks and the cleaners." The release documents also carry the claims of Miss Guffey that she had been directed to have interactions with Prince Andrew, claims denied in Maxwell's testimony. Prince Andrew has rejected any wrongdoing, including in his later settlement with Miss Guffey in 2022. In that settlement, Prince Andrew has said that he regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Miss Guffey and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. That is very rich. Interesting. The court documents, unsealed on the orders of Judge Loretta Preska, were gathered for a defamation case brought in 2015 by Miss Guffey against Maxwell. That lawsuit was settled out of court, but this latest batch of documents from the case has provided more details of those claims that have contact with Epstein, including friends, business associates, and also victims. Many of the individuals in the case had been described anonymously as Jane Does and John Does, but now most of their real names have been released. The judge said that many of the names were already in the public domain from media coverage or had appeared in other court cases. There are still some names not released, such as victims or those who were minors at the time. Epstein, the disgraced financier who had cultivated links in politics, business, and royalty, died in jail in 2019 while facing charges of running a vast network of underage girls for interactions. Prince Andrew is no longer a working royal, and as such, Buckingham Palace does not comment on his behalf. In the fallout from his connections with Epstein and his legal battle with Miss Guffey, the prince lost his royal titles and ended his official royal duties. But in a previous statement about links to Epstein, the palace had said that Prince Andrew deplores the exploitation of any human being, and the suggestion he would condone, participate in, or encourage any such behavior is abhorrent. 2024 has largely been called the year of truth, and we are 4 days in, and if there isn't a lot of truth being spewed, I don't know what is. But I am definitely keeping my ear to the ground and my eyes wide open as everything is getting revealed. I am so happy that people are able to not only express themselves, but the truths are being revealed to keep other people safe as well. Now, I hope that many of these revelations will be followed by criminal charges, and we can only wait and see how this plays out. But it is very frustrating to stand by and watch someone who has been accused multiple times of committing heinous, terrifying, abusive, and violent crimes, and they're able to just throw money at the problem, allegedly, and be done with it. It's very sad to see, and I hope that we can observe more being done in the future, hopefully in the near future. And given the gravity of the crimes and the allegations, I don't see how people are making jokes about this. I don't see what's funny about this. Like Simon Brodkin, the comedian who openly and quite loudly threw his support behind Prince Andrew and said he was supporting Prince Andrew amidst all of this. It is shocking how a person like that can even have a career. No matter the intent behind the joke, or if it was even a joke at all, making a comment like that and saying, I'm supporting someone who has been accused by multiple people of trafficking is insane to me. And as much as they want to rave about cancel culture, well, the predators aren't being canceled. They're being held to account, and not even to the fullest extent. So I would love to see this cancel culture actually work. You have people like Dave Chappelle for the umpteenth time attacking transgender people. You have people like Prince Andrew for the umpteenth time being roped into these allegations of trafficking. You have all of these things. You have Trump doing all the many things that he's done. All these people people in powerful positions or with a lot of influence or a lot of popularity are able to just steamroll over the rest of us, skirt the law, do whatever they feel like doing, incite abuse towards groups of people, particularly marginalized groups of people who already have it pretty bad. They don't already have all of the rights that they are entitled to. And as a woman, I can definitely speak to that experience of the rights that I have just simply as a human being up on the chopping block and being a debate topic when it actually can affect my livelihood. What some people see as, oh, it's just a political point of view, we should all coexist, are actually life or death decisions that impact me as a human being. So excuse me if I don't find anything funny about trafficking or about attacking marginalized groups like transgender people or contributing to the overall abuse of marginalized communities globally. I don't find anything funny about that, and there's nothing funny about that. And excuse me if I don't jump to compare Prince Andrew and the heinous crimes he's accused of to other people who I openly support in order to make a point of support for them. Leave them out of it. That's why this is a completely separate segment. Because I've seen the attempt to defend two people who I openly support. I mean, if you've been here before, you know who I'm talking about. I've seen the attempt, and I appreciate the attempt to support them, but please support them in other ways. Please don't support them in lieu of these allegations and put them in the same conversation or put them in the same tweet or put them in the same headline, because they have nothing to do with this. Please allow Prince Andrew and the rest of that band of nefarious cretins to get their just due. Whether that's cancel culture just due or legal just due, criminal just due, whatever their just due is, accountability is needed. And I want to see accountability come to fruition in these people. It's gone on far too long. And although people are saying we are in the age of truth, I hope that truth leads to real consequences, because too many people, particularly those of us in marginalized communities, are at the helm of their whims. And we can speak the truth all day, but if they can just throw money at the problem, who's to say that they're not committing these crimes again, allegedly? So all I am saying is we're starting off the year with a lot of truth, and I am hopeful that we will see a lot more come from this than just more conversation. And if you are supporting someone who is backing a person openly supporting Prince Andrew amidst these allegations, I hope that you check yourself. There's a reason why I don't recap that podcast anymore. There's a reason why I don't talk about those two York daughters anymore. And while I understand that there's been a lot of confusion and overlap, they're not my family to accept. I can watch them stand by their father. I can watch her, despite her health issues, wishing her well, stand by her ex-husband in the midst of being accused of heinous crimes. He has yet to go into a court of law and prove himself innocent, but he allegedly threw money at the problem, so that comes with its own implications. And I can look at their support of him as well as his extended family, his brother, sister-in-law, his nephew, niece-in-law. I can look at their support of him walking all into Sandringham together and take that to mean what it means, that they support him regardless of what he's accused of, although he has yet to prove his innocence. And I can choose not to support them. Whoever else wants to continue to support the extended family around him, they have that right, and I don't have a word to say about that. Please, do you. How you handle your family is your business. But what I won't do is support anyone who supports Andrew. And that's that on that. As these documents continue to be unsealed, names are rolling out left and right, and trust and believe I am paying attention. So I hope everyone else is too, and I hope we can see some just due happening. Cancel culture is not real, because if that were the case, a lot of the people that are whining about cancel culture would be in jail. So anyway, please let me know your thoughts on this on both of these situations. 2024 started off with a bang, royals behaving badly, allegations flying left and right. Let me know what you think in the comment section or in the live chat below. Now, y'all know I am prone to tangents, so I'm sure you aren't shocked that I went on a rant, but there is just something so overlooked about the way the royal family does not defend their own family, but they protect the ones who are predatory. It's just insane to me, allegedly. It's just insane to me that if you're not going to protect any of them, that's your call. It's still trashy, but that's your call. But if the ones that you choose to protect are the ones who are predatory and the ones that you choose to neglect are the ones who've done nothing wrong, you got to admit something's wrong with the system there. You got to admit all the light bulbs aren't turning on. Something ain't right. So I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I do think more families need to focus on protection versus including the people who are predatory or create unsafe spaces. And I don't feel like that's a radical thing to say. I think more people need to say that out loud. Stop protecting predators, stop protecting abusers, and start protecting those who have been victimized. Start creating safe spaces. So I may have gone on a little bit of a tangent, but I meant every word of it. And I hope we continue to see justice served. I hope we see justice served this year. So anyway, we've had a chance to talk about the good stuff and we've gotten through the mess and even the legal drama, but we are not done yet. We're starting off on a high note this year. So I wanted to start off with community conversation. I know it's been a while, but community conversation is the segment where I listen to voicemails, recordings, and text messages that you've sent me and respond to them here. We're also going to give an update on the Fisher House fundraiser that we had in December. We have the grand total, and I cannot wait to share with you. Y'all showed up and showed out, and I cannot wait to celebrate. So let's get started with the community conversation segment, and then we're going to go over to the update on the Fisher House Foundation fundraiser. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show.
Good evening, Sharion. Pardon my voice, I'm a little hoarse. My name's Monica, and I listened to your podcast. I wanted to know, you probably know already, but however, with the British, the lady, you will know her. It looks like she has a wig or extensions, and she's African American, but very dark, wears bizarre makeup. She has a interview with this Caucasian male who has just called out Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, that she's a very sick individual, and she takes, in essence, everything that's not serious, like, you know, with the color of Archie would be, and he just goes on and on. He's a Caucasian male with white hair, and she is the one that's interviewing him on in Britain. And I know you know who she is. She has very vile speech, but she did say we think she has mental problems, she being Meghan, but, you know, she wanted to clear it for the station, but she let this man continue. He actually, that's malicious slander. And, you know, I just pray for Meghan and Harry and Doria and those kids, and their animals. Because, you know, to have people, I know what it's like to have people talk about you, as an old expression, like a dog, and you're not the individual that is doing any harm or anything to anyone else, but being a kind person. So I just wanted to let you know that part if you didn't already. I just saw it before I went and scrolled to find that your telephone number, and appreciate it. I can't be a member, but I do listen. Well, I enjoy your show and everything that you put out, and it's really good to have different viewpoints as well as everybody else agreeing, but this is vile.
Hi, Monica. Thank you so much for being a subscriber, and thank you even more for sending in your thoughts. Now, I did look for this interview, but I'm hearing this so long after you sent it. December was such a crazy month for me that I missed community conversation in 2 of our live streams, and so I couldn't find it, and I think too much time may have passed, and that's on me. So if anyone has a link to this clip or to this interview, please send it to me because I am more than happy to check it out and give my opinion on it. Once again, thank you so much, Monica, for being a subscriber and watching the channel. Through your support, I'm able to do what I love, and I cannot tell you thank you enough. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to respond to this clip. And as soon as I find the interview or the clip, I will be giving my opinion.
Hello, Sharon. This is Mama Pat. You rock, girl. I am so proud that you be speaking up for Harry and Meghan. Because nobody else in the royal family going to speak up for them, including his own father and brother. They need to stop being jealous of them and be there for them. That's family. You do not do that to families, okay? I love your show. I love texting your show. You keep on rocking, girl, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, you and your family, and God bless you. Because I love Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan. He's going to be the king and she's going to be the queen. There's no doubt about it. And everybody in the world is going to love them. What you are saying about Harry, he's going to always be a prince. He was born and bred into it. And Meghan is the Duchess. Why do they hate people so much when nobody's the colors that they claim that they are? She's not white. He's not white. Everybody is Caucasian. I love both of them because the things that they do for the people all over the globe. And that's what scares them so much. They need to change their ways. It's about time they change their ways. We're going into 24. It's time to change. Especially his father's so-called ugly wife, and his older brother, William, and Kate. All of them need to change their ways to stop lying on this man. Instead of hating, you should be proud of him. Sooner or later, you're going to have to be proud of him because he's going to be the king. Harry is going to be the king, and Meghan is going to be the queen. No doubt about it. I love you. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your words. God bless you, sweetheart. And the podcast, God bless your podcast for everything that you do and for the words that you say for Harry and Meghan. God bless you and your family. Thank you. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, Mama Pat. Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you so much for watching the channel and giving your opinions. It is so great to hear your voice. I always appreciate hearing from you, so thank you so much for reaching out. I just want to start by saying thank you so much for all of the really sweet things that you said. I cannot tell you how impactful that is to me and how much I appreciate that. You truly made my day. Thank you so much for all of your well wishes and your really sweet compliments. I also want to follow up with what you said about family. Now, y'all know we have dissected the royal family and their relationship with the media and how they have used Harry and Meghan as scapegoats for a number of reasons and how they have worked together and, in my opinion, colluded to railroad Harry and Meghan and put them in very dangerous situations. They are inciting extremists to inflict harm on Harry and Meghan in a number of ways. And they've also had threats of harm, the intent to harm in a physical manner as well. So it's not just on social media or on the front pages of newsstands and gossip rags and all of that and commentary and interviews. It's actually translating into threats of physical harm toward 2 very real people with 2 very real children and 3 very real dogs. They are having people, they're writhing up hate inside extreme people who are already inclined to hate. Because let's be real, in order to be roused up about people you don't know to the point in which you want to harm them, you have to be a little touched as well. But aside from that, they're writhing up people in order to inflict harm on Harry and Meghan, leaving them like sitting ducks. And then they want to throw rocks and hide their hands. And the same people that will preach forgive to Harry and Meghan, forgive your family. Don't talk about your family. Don't tell the very real harms that were done to you by your family. Don't express yourself. Don't protect yourself. Forgive them. They won't turn around and tell the royal family or any other family. You should also be under obligation to not inflict harm on family. So many people have a really nasty habit of asking people who've been victimized and harmed mentally, emotionally, and physically. They'll ask them, just forgive. We family. We all we got. Well, were we all we got when that person was inflicting harm on me? Does the same not apply? If there's an A side, there has to be a B side. Flip that tape over and run it back. Can you not tell them, hey, we are a family. We're all we have. And we do not inflict harm on one another. I'm disgusted with you. What a shame. I'm disappointed. I'm holding you to the standard I know you can meet. Don't inflict harm on family. No, instead, what they say is, that's just how he is. You know how she is. I don't know why she act like that, but she do. We just gotta forgive and come together. So wait a minute. You don't know why this person harms me. You don't know why this person abuses me. You don't know why this person recruits others to try and harm and abuse me. You don't know what to do about it. You admitted that you haven't even talked to them or tried to solve the problem, but what you had the energy to do was ask me to withstand it? You have the nerve to say, it's okay as long as we come together? Can nobody hear how insane that sounds? And so when we talk about family, there's often this one side without the other side. And I really appreciate the point that Mama Pat made about family should defend each other, because too many people will hold family to a standard of forgiveness that they're not holding family to a standard of allegiance. You have to have an allegiance with your family, protect your family, not cause harm on your family. And in turn, you get the forgiveness because the intent was to do good by your family. If people are treating you with ill intent, you don't have an obligation to forgive them. You have an obligation to protect yourself. That's survival one-on-one. I said one-on-one. 101. Don't come to my class, child. But at the end of the day, too many people will preach forgiveness without also preaching do not cause harm to family. Now, we will hurt each other regardless. If we're in close proximity, we will make mistakes. The point is the ill intent behind it, the lack of accountability, and the refusal to create change. If I have harmed you and I care about you, you couldn't beat me to trying to fix that because I care. A person who refuses to be accountable and refuses to acknowledge and refuses to change is a person who just does not care. And in which case, why am I obligated to forgive a person who does not care about my well-being? We just talked about Prince Andrew. We just talked about him. And here's the thing about Prince Andrew. Look at how they're rallying around him. If you leave people to it, they will absolutely show you who they are. But if you watch who they rally around and who they gravitate to, that'll tell you even more about what's going on with that character and in their souls. And when people are rallying to protect an abuser, you better believe you're looking at multiple abusers. I don't care who they are. Anybody can get the chop. If you are out here molesting people and trafficking people, you absolutely should not be walking into church with me at Sandringham. And if I find out the pervy uncle is invited to the church service and the walkabout and the walk-in to the Sandringham, then maybe I'll miss this one. Maybe I'll go down to the local church instead. Maybe I'll show up early so I don't have to walk with y'all. Maybe I can show that I'm not part of the clownery. Mama Pat, you put something on my heart because I absolutely hold families accountable. All we have is each other. That statement is true. All we have in this world is our family, and we won't be here forever. So that means we should protect each other that much more. That doesn't mean forgive indefinitely, forgive abuse indefinitely. That actually means protect your family from victimization of any kind. And if a perpetrator within your family reveals themselves, then it's your job to protect the rest of the family. That person has identified themselves as not part of the family. They are an outlier because they are now a perpetrator or a predator, and they need to be ousted. That is your enemy. And here I am talking about predators and perpetrators of any kind, but those within the family. And we're talking about how this royal family has stood by the press, the media, over their own flesh and blood. They'll sit there and back up Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson, two people who would sell them up the river if it meant making an extra buck, but they're going to sit here and mistreat and join in on the public bullying of two very real family members. And then they sit and wonder why their popularity is dwindling on a global stage. They sit and wonder why no one takes them seriously. They sit and wonder why people don't consider them to be real leaders in the world. They're not considered actual people of substance. They're considered people who have taken the game of dress up just a little bit too far. They wonder why they're not respected on the global stage, and that is one of the reasons why. They wonder why Republic won't let up and take the foot off their neck, and I hope they never do. And they wonder why. That's why. And when we talk about the royals and how they failed to back up Harry and Meghan, one of the biggest FUs that Harry and Meghan could ever give them, which they continue to, is showing those people that they don't need them, their validation, or their protection. They got it. Families should absolutely watch this whole mess play out and take a lesson from it. Have each other's back. Be there for each other and always stand up for what's right. Too many people want to delight in their wrongdoing, and they want people to join that circus, and not enough people stand up to people like that. And that's why you have families who 4 and 5 of them show up to Christmas dinner, because everyone else is feeling ostracized because you invited the abuser or you are the abuser. Take a look at what's going on. Too many people have families who can't even come together because they refuse to operate in the right. They refuse to treat people with respect. They refuse to facilitate a safe environment. They refuse to call out and ostracize the predators or the perpetrators in the family. They refuse to stand up for what's right. And well, people get sick of being told they deserve to be abused. People get sick of being told that they don't deserve safety. People get sick of being treated like yesterday's news and yesterday's trash. So people will build their own family units and their own safe spaces and their own new traditions, because it's a whole lot better than being abused by you and your coven of bandits. And then people say, I wonder what happened. The family just went to crap after Granny died. No, it wasn't when Granny died. It was because Granny was the only one calling people out and keeping the safe space. Granny was the only one willing to be 10 toes down to protect her babies. And when she passed, y'all all failed to follow up and follow through. And that is why the family don't come together, because it's not safe anymore. It ain't safe anymore. And that's on a micro scale. And I'm not even talking about the royals at this point. I'm talking about a lot of families go through that. Well, they wonder, why don't we get together anymore? Why don't we? Okay, have you taken stock of the space? Is it safe? Are y'all treating people with respect? Are y'all protecting those within the family, or are you protecting the allegiance of your coven? It's worth asking. But anyway, the royals are in for a rude awakening. They keep, like I said last year, they keep peddling this olive branch. I literally made a joke in one of my last 2 videos. I think it was my New Year's video. I literally made a joke about the royals, that they were going to have a series of, I think Harry and Meghan may show up to Martin Luther King Jr. Day with the royals, and then they may show up to Valentine's with the royals, and then they may show up to St. Patrick's with the royals. And I was like, they're going to keep going forever. That way they always have a story. Why did I see an article this morning that said all of the holidays Harry and Meghan may show up to with the royals? And I just laughed. I said, not y'all peeping on my podcast. Either I'm a psychic, or y'all were peeking on my podcast. And I hope you know the joke is on you either way. But anyway, if you want family to come together, you have to protect the family. Just like Mama Pat said, family should protect each other. There is no excuse for it. You should protect those in your family and create a safe space. And if someone harms your family, you should absolutely stand 10 toes down behind your family and defend them. Thank you so much, Mama Pat. I'm sorry for my rant. Thank you so much for watching the channel and for all your sweet well wishes. And I really appreciate all of your support.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Sharion.
Oh my God, to God be the praise, to Jesus be the praise for Prince Harry's lawsuit. Thank you, sweet Father Jesus, for bringing justice not only to Prince Harry, but to all the people that have suffered by these liars and these deceitful people. Miss Sharion, I am so happy. I just wanted to praise God in front of everybody. He is the master, and he will bring justice. And I just want to say thank you, Sussex Squad family. Thank you, Sussex Squad prayer warriors, for doing it and sending those beautiful prayers up so that God could bring justice to his children. Miss Sharion, thank you for always keeping us up on what's happening. Thank you for your truth and for your knowledge. And thank you for allowing us that do pray to be able to do so on your podcast. We love you. We love Father Jehovah. And I'm like, ooh, child, go ahead, God, go ahead. I'm happy this morning. Y'all hear me? I am happy, happy, happy. Love you.
Hi, Queen Berta Sanchez. Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate you not only calling in and sharing your thoughts, but for all of your support and for being a subscriber and for being a moderator. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Much love to you and your family. And I hope you all had a really wonderful holiday. It was so amazing to celebrate Harry's win in court. And I look forward to a whole nother year of wins from both Harry and Meghan. We've talked about it, so I won't belabor the point, but I will say this. It definitely set the precedent for this new wave of retribution and justice and accountability, and he is leading the forefront, and I cannot say thank you to him enough. And those all of the brave claimants, thank you so much for all that you're doing for the people like myself who cannot fight a thing like this in court. It was a really high note to end the year on, and I feel like it was an amazing positive sign of things to come and what we can expect from 2024 and beyond. So I absolutely understand the enthusiasm because I am right there with you. It's nearly a month later and I am still excited, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the next few cases, and we will continue to talk about them here on this channel. Once again, Queen Berta Sanchez, thank you so much for everything. It is always amazing to hear from you, and I hope you have an amazing, blessed new year. Once again, thanks to everyone who participated in community conversation. I really appreciate hearing your feedback. And now that we're back into the groove of things and we're in the new year, we will have a community conversation segment weekly. Yet again, I know we skipped a few in December, but we will continue to have them weekly. So feel free to call in with your opinion. My phone number is in the description box below. You can text or you can call in and I will respond, and we will weigh in during the live stream or the live premiere. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I now have some good news. As you know, we conducted a fundraiser on behalf of the Fisher House Foundation, where I am a groundbreaker, which means I am allowed to fundraise on behalf of Fisher House Foundation as a live streamer. So we actually conducted our first fundraiser in the month of December, from December 4th to December 31st. And I am so excited to tell you guys how much we raised. Now, we raised funds in a number of ways. First, through Streamlab, which is a campaign fundraiser for live streamers. We used Streamlab as the official campaign page. We also used YouTube as a donation page. With YouTube's participation, we were able to create a donation page via YouTube where they would put a button at the bottom of my screen and in my live chat, so to make it easier for people to donate. And they refused to take fees from charity. So we had participation there. And then people donated via Venmo, CashApp, and super stickers and super chats. I calculated all of the donations. Through the Streamlab donation page, we raised $1,300.04. We actually raised the majority of that on the first day within 2 hours. Y'all were showing up and showing out. Thank you so much. But that's not all. Remember when I just described what the YouTube donation page was, and YouTube's participation enabled us to raise even more? Well, it paid off. We raised via YouTube donation pages $2,115.16. That is amazing. And through all of the other miscellaneous donations from Cash App to Venmo, super stickers, and super chats, we raised a total of $401.92. Meaning, between December 4th and December 31st, we raised a grand total of $3,817.12. Thank y'all so much for raising funds for Fisher House Foundation. Their mission is amazing. We have talked about them so much on this channel, and we will be conducting another fundraiser later on in the year. And I cannot believe not only my first fundraiser that you guys really showed up to help out Fisher House Foundation. However, this took place during Christmas time. And y'all still showed up in such a big way. Thank you so much for your dedication and your care and your love for military veterans, service members, and their families. Thank y'all so much. And thank you, YouTube, for your participation in helping us to fundraise on behalf of such an amazing cause. And lastly, but absolutely not least, thank you so much to Fisher House Foundation, as well as the Groundbreakers program, for all of your hard work and what you do for service members, veterans, and their families. I cannot say thank you enough for helping those who protect us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really felt good hearing your voices again and doing another community conversation segment. It has been a while. We took a little break in December, and I'm so glad to be back with the community conversations. And this is just as much your channel as it is mine. I love sharing this space. This is a safe space for us to talk about royal matters, but also interpersonal matters. Whatever comes up as we discuss the royals, a lot of things come up for us because a lot of what Harry and Meghan went through, a lot of us can attest to experiencing ourselves. So this is a safe space, and I really appreciate you participating in community conversation. And I always want you to feel welcome and feel like you have the floor and can use that as needed. So feel free to use the phone number in the description box below if you want to call and leave a voicemail, or if you want to send a text message. And you are also welcome to do so anonymously. If you open up your message or your text by saying, please keep me anonymous, you will be kept anonymous. I don't even say your name when you do that. So it's just my way of respecting your boundaries and making sure that you still feel included no matter how comfortable you are with sharing your identity. And so it was really nice to get back to the community conversation, but it really impressed me how much you guys showed up for the Fisher House Foundation fundraiser. I know that y'all are generous and y'all have the giving spirit. We've all participated in the many fundraisers held on behalf of the Sussexes, so that has been amazing to experience. But to conduct my own fundraiser on behalf of Fisher House Foundation and for you guys to show up for them in the way that you did, I cannot say thank you enough. And thank you so much to YouTube for your participation in that and making it possible for us to reach as much money as we did in our fundraiser. And thank you even more to Fisher House Foundation for what you do for service members, veterans, and their families. There is so much that can be said about the way veterans and service members are treated. I'm in America, and I talk about it all the time, about all of the rights that service members and veterans still have yet to get, and all of the privileges I think that they should be afforded for protecting us and keeping our country safe. And Fisher House Foundation makes it easier for veterans and service members and their families to receive the medical care that they need by taking care of some of the things that would be a daunting task or something that would make it impossible for families to help the service member in their lives as they receive medical care. So thank you so much to Fisher House Foundation for all that you do. It was such a pleasure to conduct this fundraiser. This was amazing. I had the time of my life working with you guys and promoting it and talking about Fisher House. It's been great, and I can't wait until our next one. And hopefully I'll get to attend some of the Fisher House events this year. I'm hoping to travel and do a little bit of traveling around the US and attending some of their events this year. And I will definitely share with you guys what that experience is like. So that is all I have for y'all. It has been so nice to get back to live streaming. I took the week off, one, because it's the first week of the year, and I was kind of pushing it at the end of December. I was tired, y'all. But not just that. Y'all know I dropped the tray table on my foot. I never said your girl wasn't clumsy. I dropped the tray table on my foot, and I mean right on my foot. And it's 4 pounds, but that 4 pounds felt like 40. It was so painful. And I just did not have the energy to try to get up and come into this office and work for 2 days. I was like, no. You need to let this stay elevated and take care of it. But I was on the couch being a bum, and it was really hard for me to focus on anything because the pain was so bad. I thought it was broken, but turns out it wasn't broken, just badly bruised. But I'm back. And the internet has really kept me occupied. I know y'all saw that Cat Williams interview. I know y'all been sorting through that Epstein list. Like, the internet has just been interneting. And I have been in all the mess, y'all. I've been everywhere. So I hope y'all had fun on our first live stream back. We're back to consistent live streams. Next week, we will definitely have our same 3 live streams that we usually have: a member video, a Patreon video, and this weekend, you guys will see some replay videos as well. We're back on our schedule, and thank you so much for being patient with me. I needed that rest, but I am back in action. New year, new me. No, it's the same old me. Sorry, y'all. Same old me. But anyway, I hope y'all are having an amazing new year. And I hope 2024 is 10 times better than 2023 for us. And we are just onward and upward, and we are starting the year with wins. But that's all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button to like the video. Let the algorithm know you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to share so that we can try and make it to 50,000 subscribers this year. I don't know if we'll make it there. I've been setting my sights high. After I saw how y'all showed up for me last year, we just gonna set the sights high and see what happened. So we're setting the goal for this year to 50,000 subscribers. Hope that we can make it. But in the meantime, please don't forget to share if you want to help out with that. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.